Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, whatever the case may be for you, and welcome to the Backroads Hunting and Fishing Podcast. Today on the program, we're going to have the most famous crappie guide in Alabama, and that would be Mr. Lee Pitts. Also, we're going to have an announcement on a couple of guests coming up, so y'all stay with us.
The world gets crazy sometimes. It's crazy all the time. And fellas, sometimes we just need to get away. And down south, we go hunting and fishing to get away. This is the Backroads Podcast. Let's do this. Welcome to the Backroads Podcast. Now, here's your host, Chris Hobbs.
Well, all right, we're back again. Backroads Outdoors. Once again, we got Lee Pitts with us, the most famous crappie guide in Alabama. And Lee, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I've switched gears a little bit today, and I hate to say this, but I've kind of been had to get out in the woods a little bit. I've got some property lease, and I've got a hay field on it, and they're adjoining farmers were planting, so I had to go out there and see what they were planting, just kind of kick back and sit on the tailgate and watch them kick up some dust, and I feel pretty good today.
That's awesome, man. Well, you've been on the water a lot, over the past few months, so you need a break in the woods.
Man, that's the biggest thing. And I tell people sometimes, especially with my guiding, in the key periods of crappie season, that fall season, October, November, December, and then again in the spring, late January, February, March, April, May, man, sometimes I'm in that boat 40, 50, 60 days straight. And it's good every now and then to keep your feet on the dirt and watch a hay field.
I know that's right. Well, listen, I know you've had some trips this week. We've talked a couple of times this week. Tell us what's going on Neely, Henry, and Weiss, and what you catching them on, and what are you catching?
Well, I'm going to tell you now, I've been on Weiss more than Neely this week, but I have split it up some, so I'll just tell you Weiss. I've had one bass trip and two crappie trips, and, this time of year, everybody knows that this is kind of our slow time. The crappie are about done. Usually it's that mid-April, early May, they're finished, but they really surprised me, man. We went out trying to catch some white bass and caught several and left those and hit some deeper structure and brush piles and things like that, and the crappie turned back on. We got out there, and I didn't have any minnows with me, but we got out dropping live bait. Didn't have any live bait, dropping jigs down. I was putting 16ths on, dropping them down, hitting brush tops, and, man, we caught a bunch of crappie.
That's crazy. That's crazy this time of year. But, you know as well as I do that, if you get in the right spot, you never know what's going to grab your line.
And that's it. I think we just kind of happened to hit a stretch of riverbank that the fish were out there deep holding, but I could graph them, turn back on them, and I'm using my hummingbirds, and I'm looking at all this stuff. Look at it as I come over a brush top. There's fish on it. Turn back on it and catch them.
There you go. Well, and we've talked about it probably ad nauseum to some of our listeners, but you just can't say enough about good electronics. It's like on your hunting rifle. Everything's about that optic sitting on top of that rifle. So.
And you made a good point right there. That is a great analogy, because somebody wouldn't say, well, I've got a really expensive rifle and a long distance shooting rifle, but I'm going to put the cheapest scope I can possibly put on it where I can't see anything. Same with your electronics. You want to see what's going on, pinpoint it, and make a good opportune shot. Whether you're fishing or hunting, you want to be where the fish are or the deer are.
Well, I think everybody knows, a rule of thumb, except for the new guys that are just getting into it and they don't know all this yet. But you want to buy as much rifle as you can afford, but enough rifle to shoot as long as you want to shoot. Because I've been in several areas in Alabama, and the longest shot I've got, maybe 200 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and this is what I tell people that come in our store. Look, pick your scope out first. Pick a great scope that that's as much as you can afford on a scope. And then turn around and pick you out a gun that puts you in that area, that financial area that that you plan on spending anyway. If you're going to spend $1,000, spend $500 or $600 on a scope and rest on a gun. Because when you just can't beat good optics. If you can't afford good optics, you need to wait. Don't waste your money on a $149 scope, unless you're just out planking at 50, 75 yards. Buy a good scope. Same goes along with your electronics on your boat. Put a good electronics on your boat. It'll pay dividends. It'll make it much more fun for you to fish, just like it'll make it funner for you to hunt.
Yeah, and that's one other thing that goes with that in your shooting. And I'm around a lot of guys in the fall. I'm around a bunch of guys we deer hunt to around here. But these guys have got some of the, I would say, very, very productive equipment. They've got the rifle and the scope to match and all this and that. There's one other formula that goes with this, and a lot of people forget about this. I got a buddy of mine, matter of fact, he was sitting in the hayfield with me just a minute ago. Here it is June, but if you will familiarize yourself with a rifle and shoot through the summer, shoot through the off time, it's almost like if you're a golfer, you're not going to swing a club for 6 months and then go out there and go and jump in and be on target.
Right.
Same with your rifles. We shoot 22s. We shoot our deer rifles some through the summer, but we shoot low caliber guns and get in that rhythm because it's just like fishing. You got to get in that rhythm and you got to get sunk in and get really, really familiar with your equipment, or you're not going to be productive with it.
No, that's true.
That
I'm
goes,
glad you brought that up.
Fishing, hunting, or whatever. If you're not out there, and then he and I have been shooting since we jumped out of our crappie boats and it slowed down, we've been shooting for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Am I a great shot? No. But I would be a really bad shot if I didn't shoot through the off season.
Right. Well, and that's a great point. And I know a lot of people don't live on property that they can go out and shoot, but there's a lot of great places. Go online and find these shooting ranges, and get out there and spend a little money and get familiar with your gun, especially if you buy a new one. Because look, when you buy a new gun, you've got to the ammo you shot in your old gun may not work as good as it's going to in this gun that you just bought. You got to go out there and you got to spend some money and run some shells through that gun, find out what your rifle likes. Because every rifle
you nailed it. You nailed
different.
It right there. I mean, you nailed it. Because I have got, a few different rifles that I love to shoot. Every one you can shoot the same caliber, same bullet out of, but they shoot different. And you nailed it right there. But know what that gun's going to do. Right. Know what the shells are going to do. And if you change shells, it may shoot totally different.
Well, I hear this a lot when people are looking for ammo, and they'll go, and they'll ask, "Do y'all have this?" And I'll go, "No," and I'll say, "But I have this," and they'll go, "No, my rifle groups this the best," or they'll tell me, "Look, that ammo right there, it will only group at 2 inches. You know, this ammo here will group at 1 inch. You know, it's crazy, and people think I'm crazy when I tell them. And look, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here, okay? And I'm gonna say something, and if I offend somebody, I'm sorry. But when you go somewhere and you are going to buy ammo, know what grain you shoot before you come in. That is imperative. Especially in deer hunting, if you're shooting a 308 150 grain, but then you go, I can't remember what I shoot, and you buy a 165, well, guess what? Your gun's sighted in for 150s. Know what your grain is. Know what you sighted your gun in with before you go buy more ammo. Now,
all right, I'm gonna stop you right there. I gotta tell you something.
all right.
I'm sitting right here smiling and just grinning because you know what we just did.
What?
What we just did. We were fishing a minute ago. We're so damn ready for hunting season to come back around. It's like, and I do this all the time. All of a sudden, crappie season's over, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, it's fixing me the heat of the summer. Oh, man, I need to go get some salt. I got to go put some salt out. And then here we are. We're going and talking about different grains of bullets, what we're going to shoot, target shooting, getting ready. Hey, we're so damn ready for hunting season, we can't stand it.
You're right. I got sucked in. It just sucked me right in. And look, we're going to do,
listen,
I know we
was at a
talked
buddy
about.
of mine's house today. I finished up and he got in and I swung by there and I had to pick up, I forget what it was, a grinder or something I was trying to use. And I swung by his house and I was like, okay, now this year, we still always going to do it next year. We're going to have a men's day. We're going to have a cookout. We're going to go hunting that evening. Then we're going to have afterwards, we're going to have our deer hung up. And here we are, already ready for deer season.
I'm telling you, I got serious too. I mean, I was, roped right into that one. I mean, the hunting hooked me, hook, line, and sinker there, my friend. My blood pressure got up a little bit.
I'm still sitting in the truck. I'm sitting here and I thought, here we go. And we're talking about something. I thought, wait a minute, man, we're getting ready for hunting season. We're going to start hunting. Well, hey, I'm going to start reloading. We're getting ready for hunting season.
Sorry, if you tuned in to talk about fishing, I'm going to disappoint you. No, we're going to get back on it. Let's, if you have a question about any of that stuff we just talked about very seriously, just shoot us an email. It's thebackroadsinfo@gmail.com, and we'll look, I know a ton of people that know a lot about ballistics and guns and ammo and all that. So if I can't answer your question, I will find the right guy that can. So anyway, let's go back to fishing and let's talk about Neely Henry a little bit.
Neely is doing, they're a little ahead of us in our grass bite still. And when I say us, Weiss Lake, they're the next lake down. But Neely is being very, very productive right now. I've been there a little bit, but it's an early deal in the morning. You still got a good grass bite. You got a, flipping the jig. They're not as aggressive on the, and when I say moving frogs, I'm talking about a horny toad, a seismic, if anybody even throws a seismic anymore. But some of these moving frogs, they're not as aggressive on that as a popping frog, something you can set still, twitch it, walk it. It's just one of those things that, they're more acceptable for it right now and chasing it down. So that and flipping is a good grass bite in the morning, and then you got to back off, shaky heads, your crankbaits, your offshore jigs, things like that.
Well, still I'm going back to, I freed my schedule up. How's your week looking next week or the week after for us to get on the water?
I think we'll be good next week. I'm leaving, like I said, in the morning. I'm gonna go to my next venture and kind of test the waters a little bit and go out for it. And then next week, I think I'm okay here.
All right. Well, I'm going to holler at you early next week. I got my GoPro stuff out. It's ready to go. I got it all charged up. So I'm ready when you are. I know it's been my fault, but now I'm ready.
All right, man. Yeah, we're cleared. We'll get these guys some pictures and some footage where they can see what's going on.
That sounds good to me. Now, we do have a couple of, I did want to make an announcement on our guests that we have coming up. We got 2 guests. They're booked, but the dates haven't been set yet. I've got a little bit of more, finagling to talk to them about, because one of them, I'll just go ahead and announce it. It's going to be Rex Holmes Jr. from Vapor Trail Scents. He developed one of the most effective cover scents I've ever seen. It's called the 33 Point Buck. It's with he developed it's called, and I'm sorry I'm stumbling on that. It's called a vapor maker. You pour the 33 Point Buck in, you pump this little bottle up, and it comes out in a really fine mist. And I'm telling you, there is a show we did, Southern Legends TV. You can look at it on YouTube. Southern Legends TV we did down in Mississippi with Rex, and used the 33 Point Buck. We were hog hunting, and I'm telling you, I've seen it firsthand. It's amazing. Watch that video if you want to see how good this stuff is. But he's going to be on with us. Haven't not locked down a date yet, but it's going to be pretty soon. He's a pretty busy guy. But he's going to talk about some new things he's got going on. He's really got his finger on the pulse of everything deer hunting. But not really big over here yet, but it probably will be and should be. This stuff's amazing. I use it every season. That's how much I believe in it. But also, we're going to have one of Lee Pitt's favorite people, and that is the program director at the Alabama Bass Trail, and that's Miss Kay Donaldson. She'll be on with us. Lee, you kind of hooked us up on that.
Yeah, Kay, I reached out to her, and, with the Alabama Bass Trail, not only with the 2 different trails that she fishes, also we have the 100s going on. And she said she would love to come aboard and talk to us and tell us, not only people don't understand, not only the bass trails coming to a lake or coming to an area, it's all the money that they bring to the store managers, the gas stations, the grocery stores, all the bars and grills and restaurants and this and that. So she would really, really like to come talk to us and tell us about the impact that it has on the community.
Well, I really hadn't thought about that as far as what it does do because that's a lot of fishermen coming to a small area, because usually a lot of those boat ramps y'all go out of are not, metropolis.
Yeah,
I can't say that word. It's too many syllables.
You're bringing 225 boats, but there's 550 fishermen and their wives, their kids, their people that come to watch them and see them. So we're bringing a whole lot of people in these communities.
I mean, I'm looking forward to talking to her. I'd kind of like to get a little background on how it got started. I remember hearing about it, but then all of a sudden, bam! It took off like gangbusters, man. And the sponsors they have are great people. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Kay. Appreciate you hooking us up with that.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, she's ready to do it.
All right, Lee. Look, I do want to, and I hate to do this because we already sold ourselves out on the hunting part, but we did get one question in, and most of our questions that we're going to cover when we do the mailbag episode is about fishing. But this one question came from Tim out of Columbus, Georgia. And he says, "Hey, Lee and Chris," and it was nice I was included in that question, but it says, "Not a fishing question, but wanted to get you guys' opinion. Think about getting in a hunt club for the first time, and what are your thoughts on the pros and cons of getting in one? Thanks, Tim." Lee, I'm gonna let you start on that.
Well, I'm going to start out with the pros. Okay.
All right.
Here's the thing, and you have so many people this day and time that older guys that may not have hunted much in their youth, may not know a lot about deer season. Hunting clubs are a good place to go where you've got a camaraderie. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody kind of works together on this. And somebody that's not really sure about their hunting skills or wanting to get into it, this is where you can really learn. Because most of the guys are going to talk. They're going to tell you, well, here's what you need to do. Well, man, I've been going this place, and I'm not seeing nothing. I'm taking my boy, and we're not seeing deer. Well, oh, man, well, come on up this way, and what you got to do is sit here in the shadows and do this, and that. And, it's a learning process. So that's one of the pros that I see with clubs.
All right. Well, if you're going to do pros, I'm going to do cons, okay?
Okay.
All right. The con side of that, and this can be both. I mean, a lot of times in a club, the whole club's a pro and con. There's great things about it, and there's bad things about it. And if you can accept the bad things, then it's a good thing.
It's almost like going through high school again.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. That's perfect.
Not fun.
Yeah, that's perfect. One of the cons is the cost, because your better hunting clubs are going to cost more money. So if money's not an object, go ahead and spend the money and find the club that's got the most land with the fewest members.
Yeah, that's good anywhere.
Right. So if you've got the money, just go ahead and spend it, and you'll be glad you did. They're just better. They have better camps. Fewer members means you got more area that when it comes opening day, you're not fighting to try to find a spot to get into, because everybody that's been in that club for 5 years or more, they already know where to go. They've already pinned in. Some of them don't follow the rules and pin in early. If you've got a weak president, they let that go on, and you're just stuck with the leftovers. And maybe some goofball, did something to spook a deer, into your area. But if you got the money, go ahead and spend it and find the right club. Find a club where they have rules on baiting, because they can bait now in Alabama. You don't want a club that every member in the club's got 15 piles of corn out, and then they hunt the pile that's in the middle. Don't ever bother to hunt the other ones. All they're doing is trying to get all the deer into their little secret honey hole with all the corn. So find a place that has rules on baiting. And I guess just go back. This goes back to what I said originally. Is you're going to have members, you're going to have good members and bad members. You're going to have members that when you get up early, follow the rules, go pin in, somebody's going to be standing behind you, go, that's my area. You don't need that kind of drama. A club's supposed to be, if you got up and you got there first and you pinned in there, that's your area. Doesn't matter if you've been in the club a year, doesn't matter if you've been in it 20 years. But you got too many older guys that, and look, I've had some really terrible experiences with pinning in and going somewhere and having a guy already sitting there, and he's ready to fight me to keep me out of that area when he didn't even pin in there. He just got up early and left because he'd been a member for so long. So, like I said, there's good things and bad things, but to me, and I may be wrong, and I may have offended somebody, but spend the money, getting a good club with fewer members, it's just much easier. Well,
fortunately, I've never been in any of those clubs, so
Well, no, you're lucky because I have been. You know, Rodney and I both have been in those clubs. You know,
Wow.
me and Rodney pinned into these two stands. They were in the same area and they were pretty close to each other. And we had, ridden in a side by side together. So he was going to drop me off and then go to his area. Well, there's a guy sitting there, and gets his light out, kind of flags us down. What are y'all doing? So we're going to hunt that. And those stands were numbered. We're going to go hunt 10 and 11 stand. And he said, no, I'm hunting them. How are you going to sit in both stands? And he said, you didn't pin in there. Well, the president knows, that I hunt this area every year. Y'all going to have to find another place. And we're like, no, that's where we pinned in. That's where we're going. And it got nasty.
Oh, wow.
So I was only in that club for 1 year. So, but that's, that's the kind of thing you got to watch out for. But you're lucky if you hadn't had to deal with that mess.
Yeah, like I said, I've never dealt with anything like that. So, man, that is a con.
They want your money. They want your money because it keeps the cost of the membership down. And that's what that's why you got to be careful. Are you getting in the club because they really need another member, or are you getting in the club because they're trying to keep the cost of the memberships down? But when you get in there, you're not going to be allowed to hunt anywhere good. So, Anyway, Tim, I hope we didn't shy you off joining a club too much. I just had bad experience with that, and I know the good experiences I've had have been when the clubs have been more expensive. The $1,500 to $2,500 a year clubs.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah,
you're talking about them where they feed you and stuff.
Well, you think they should for that amount of money? But
yeah. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I expected some. When I got in, I expected some sausage and biscuit and some scrambled eggs.
You got a golf course and a massage parlor now.
Well, I had a little chauffeur drove me out to my spot.
Yeah.
And when I killed a deer, I just told them where it was. They went and got it and gutted it for me. And,
yeah.
And by the time...
once again, I've not experienced that.
And by the time I left, it was already all wrapped up in white paper, and I just they loaded it for me, and
that's a trifecta. I've never experienced that.
That'd be nice. I'm here to tell you.
That would be nice.
That would be very nice. Well, all right, Lee. Let's do some Backroad news, man.
All right.
Hadn't done that in a few weeks. Let's try one. Hey, this is from Wired to Fish, but your brother, Toby Keith, purchased Lucky Strike baits.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did not. Man, that's great.
Man, you and your brother need to talk a little more.
Look at him getting into the fishing outdoor world.
I'm telling you. Look, if y'all have never seen Lee, and you'd kind of like a visual on what Lee looks like, picture Toby Keith. Because
I wish I had some money, but I don't know about that.
Lee and Toby Keith look like brothers. If you put them side by side, you'd swear they were brothers.
We don't sing like it.
I've never heard you sing.
Well, I'm wonderful. If you've never heard me sing, I am great. If you have, I apologize.
No, never heard you sing. But let's see. It says singer-songwriter and entertainer Toby Keith has acquired Lucky Strike, a bait and tackle brand as ingrained with top-tier anglers as it is with weekend recreationalists. I can't believe I pronounced that. Endorsed by National Freshwater Fishing Hall of Famer Jimmy Houston.
Wow.
The company is relaunching this summer with a new focus on traditional American-made division, with its traditional American-made division in Greenwood, Arkansas, and while maintaining the current assortments sold nationwide, as well as a new slogan. And I like this. Anything American, I like. And Toby Keith's American. That dude's all about America.
He's my God, American.
The slogan is an American original since 1970. Man, that's one reason I like Toby Keith. You know, he believes in America, man.
And I started to say, he is and does not waver from that.
No.
Yes.
Well,
Exactly.
any proud American shouldn't. Any proud American should stand up. Well, now we're getting political. We can't see my blood pressure is going to get up. I can't go into that. But
Yeah, here we go. Here we go again. We're going to get ready for deer season.
if I say, look, you know you're in for it.
Yeah.
If I lead in with look, okay. All right. The second story we have, and this is from Wired to Fish as well. I like that website. On Smith, this is about on Smith Lake, and that's just because it's local to us. Is the reason I brought it up. But there was a Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit Tour, and you may have seen this video. It's crazy. But a guy's name's Aaron Britt had a boat crash, and it looks like he was on the left side of the water. And you know Smith Lake, you've been there.
I've been there. I'm just trying to get a visual of what you're talking about.
All right, they've launched. Okay, it's early morning. The sun's just broke daylight. He's tooling down through there, and he's got a boat kind of in front of him to the side, and then another boat in front of him, in front of that one, and another boat in front of that one. But they're all in line, so they're not, they're avoiding wakes. But this guy's on the left side, and you can see the water rolling past him as he's going. Well, if you don't know how to drive that, with that kind of wake coming.
Yeah, I mean,
through
people
the
don't
boat.
realize it will hook you.
Yeah,
It'll hook you in it, and you cannot fight. It's like a surfer trying to fight out of a wave that he's riding.
Yeah.
You can't get out of it.
Well, it hooked him.
But you cannot get out of it.
It hooked him, threw him into a bank. It was a raised bank and a sloping bank, not an abrupt bank, which was good because he'd have really been in trouble.
Oh, hell, I'm sorry. You said it threw him into a bank, and I was like, God, hell, I've been on Smith. I've never seen a bank on the edge of the water. Okay, I got you. Yeah, the shore. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Where I come from, they call it a bank.
God,
Hey,
how high a wave was this?
Hey, why do you think they call it bank fishing, man?
Yeah, I mean, God, how big a wave was this?
It was like a tidal wave. Just threw him in town a little bit.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right. He hit the shore.
I'm good.
He hit the shore with his boat, and it launched him like a rocket right back into the water.
Oh, God.
But the boat never turned over. It was close, but it never turned over. And I mean, it jumbled him around a little bit, but it was a Ranger boat, so that's probably as heavy as they are. That's probably why.
Yeah, he hung in the water.
But my reason I bring it up is I wanted to ask you, because as much time as you spend on the water, you've seen it all. Have you ever seen that before?
Yes, I have, and plenty of times. And really, even when I'm fishing a tournament, let's say Neely Henry or at Weiss or something, even these smaller lakes, if I'm going by bridges and there's traffic, I'm going to slow down and get behind them and get in their wake, just because you go by these big cement pylons and you think, well, I've got plenty of room, but all of a sudden you get caught in their wake, you don't have plenty of room. So it's something that I try to watch, and it's just boat handling. Once you've been in that situation before and you get caught in a wave, something like that, you learn to back off of it and get behind them.
Well, but isn't that the smart thing? If something starts happening, just to throttle down.
Well, so many people think, man, I watch this on TV, everybody's running wide open. No, and just like you said, throttle down a little bit. Just play it safe. Throttle down. Play it safe, back off, then you go.
Yeah, it's not going to make you any less of a fisherman or any less of a man.
No.
If you back off a little bit.
Be careful. I'd much rather me go fishing downriver than me be upside that concrete pylon thinking, "Hey man, I won. I was going past him. I won."
Yeah, that there is a lot of competition out there. And look, you know Rodney.
Yeah.
Rodney and a buddy of his a few years back were fishing on Neely Henry. They launched at a tournament out of the city dock, and they were way on the left side of the lake because they were going in a little cut over there. So they throttled down and dropped the boat into the water, and before they could even get out of their seat, guy ran right over the back of them.
No way.
Ran right over the back of them. And, I mean, both of them are still alive today, but I know it tore Rodney's knee up. He had to have knee surgery. I think the driver ended up having back surgery. But, I mean, you just got to pay attention, man. There's no reason to run over somebody because you're not looking. You're looking at your electronics instead of looking at who's in front of you. Because that's a cluster, man. When they say go and everybody goes, that's a cluster.
Ooh.
You know it.
Oh, yeah. I choose not to be in that.
Look, when we played football.
Them old shotgun stars, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Look, when we played football and we'd run out on the field for the game, the band's kicked up, playing, everybody's fired up. I learned real quick to come out last.
Yeah,
because
I don't want to get run over.
Yeah, well, because the ones that ran out first are going to turn around, and then they start whacking each other as they run out.
Yeah.
And I didn't weigh but about 175, 180 pounds. I was not getting in the middle of that. Let's let the game start.
Yeah, I'll get roughed up out there.
Yeah, before I get my bell rung, let's let the game start. But anyway. Well, Lee, man, I appreciate you being on again. I know how busy you are, and
I just, like I said, I just got in, kicked back, and man, I'm ready to start a new day tomorrow.
I hear you. Are you got a trip tomorrow?
No, I'm going to.
Oh, that's right. You're going
Wheeler.
Wheeler.
Going to Wheeler tomorrow.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to hearing about.
For a minute, I thought, well, now where is it I'm going? Yeah, Wheeler.
Well, I look forward to hearing how the fishing is there. So I look forward to talking to you next week, and call me tomorrow and let me know how you do.
I'll do it, man. Yeah, I'm fixing like I said, I'm loading everything up, getting ready to go. I'll hit it at daylight.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck. Stay safe. We'll talk to you next.
Later.
Sounds
Enjoy
good.
it.
See you, buddy. Well, guys, once again, thanks for joining us. I hope we didn't get off topic too much today, but hey, it's all about the outdoors, and that's all that matters. We talk hunting and fishing, and I think that's what we did. But thank y'all for listening. Please like or follow on Spotify or wherever you're listening to the podcast, and we will see y'all next week.